Hello again, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is Thorn of Night, and welcome to episode 57 of my bee breeding guide. In this episode, we are going to go talk about some rocks off of the Industrious line. Not just any rocks, some specific ones, but first we need to get past the Metallic 2 branch, which was a doozy, onto the Gem branch, and this branch adds 3 bees to the mix: the Diamandi, Esmeraldi, and Apatine. And they are somewhat typical bees. They are added by magic bees. They like normal conditions, but they can work at night and they can work in caves. They need the ore blocks or the gem blocks under their housing in order to actually be bred. So, for instance, the Diamandi needs a diamond block, Esmeraldi needs an emerald block, and Apatine actually needs the apatite ore under it. They don't have any effects, so you don't have to worry about that. But the reason why you're going to be breeding these is for their output. Of course, they are going to give you some honeycomb, and that's pretty standard stuff there, but more importantly, the Diamandi bee gives you diamond shards, which can be used to craft diamonds. The Esmeraldi bee will give you emerald shards for making emeralds, and the Apatine bee will give you apatite shards for making apatite. So let's go take a look at the bees themselves real quick. And I should also mention, before I get ahead of myself, I have provided this map for download. The link will be in the description below. There will be basically 2 versions. The one before I've done all this recording for these branch episodes, and one after for adding all the detail to the hub and any other touch-up stuff that I needed to do in these branches as I found them during the episodes. So it's sort of a before and after, but you can download the map and do some experimenting and breeding and examine what all is involved for yourself on here without having to worry about mess up your own supplies and go through your bees incorrectly for trying to get these new species. But let's go ahead and examine the bees. The first one here is a Diamandi bee, and you can see there's a number 10 next to it, and what that means, it is 10 levels above or 9 levels rather, above a hive bee. Basically, the hive bees and the bees that you get from the villagers and dungeon chests are level 1 bees by my method of reckoning here, and the next level up, like the common bees, are level 2, and so on and so forth. So since it takes a level 9 bee to make, this is a level 10 bee. That's how I've determined this. Anyway, the Diamandi bee requires 2 different branches of bees to get this going. The first one is the Metallic 2 branch, the Auric bee. And if you don't know how to make that, you can either go watch my Metallic 2 video, or you can, if you've downloaded this map, go to the branch itself and take a closer look there. The other bee is the Austere bee from the Austere branch, and likewise you can go visit it, or you can watch my Austere video. But let's see what we've gotten from this endeavor here. We've got the Diamandi bee, and let's see how long that took me. It may take you more times, it may take you fewer. Who knows? It is kind of up to random chance, but this guide took me 5 generations to make. And let's just see here. It's not quite a purebred, but it's pretty close. It's kind of neat. Well, I will leave these in here for you to examine yourself if you wish. Really quick before I run out, I'll have to remember that. But let's take a look at what you can expect to get from purebred Diamandi bees. They don't need anything special like any ore blocks under them to actually produce their stuff. That was just a water puddle. They only need the diamond block under the housing to actually create the new species of the Diamandi bee. But anyway, the output, you can expect to get 1 drone from these guys, and they will output these honeycomb and these diamond shards. And it looks like from one normal productivity cycle, about 2 items is what you're going to expect. And here's some tip of where would be. Wow. Let's fill this in, shall we? 1, 2, 3. Let's get some honeycomb going. Honeycomb and honeycomb. That way you can see what the typical output is from a stack of honeycomb. Hopefully that one there will be done by the time I'm done with the rest of this stuff. Anyway, moving on to the Esmeraldi bee. In order to breed it, you will need an emerald block underneath it. Not the ore, but the block. And you're going to need, once again, that austere bee. And this time a different bee from the metallic 2 branch called argentum. And I've got some supply in here, just like I have this chest over there for you to tinker with. If you want to do some experiments with the breeding. But let's grab the Esmeraldi princess here and see how long it took me to get this. 2 generations, not too bad. And not quite a purebred, but that's alright. I'll leave these here for you to look at closer if you wish. But let's look at the output. Once again, you're going to find 1 drone from these guys and some chances, at the specialized output, the emerald shards, as well as the honeycomb. It looks like it's about 2 items maximum for 1 productivity cycle of a purebred queen. And that's still going, so that might not be done by the time I'm done with this. But let's move on anyway. The last bee in this branch is called the APATINE bee. And the APATINE bee requires the apatite ore underneath it to make. And it requires yet another bee from the metallic 2 branch called the cuprum bee, and also a bee from the agrarian branch called rural. And if you need to know how to make that, there's the linking book there if you've downloaded the map, or you can just watch my agrarian video. It's up to you. But let's see here. I need to get this to see how many generations it took me to try to get this. 11. Wow, that's annoying. But that's not the worst I've seen. It is not a purebred there. The other one might be. But I'm not going to look at that. I'll let you look at that if you wish. And I'll leave those here for you to examine yourself if you want to. And do some experiments on your own. Who knows? But let's see here. The apatine bee, the purebred queens for 1 generation, for 1 cycle, will give you also 1 drone and some chances at their output, the honeycomb and these apatite shards. And it looks like that's also going to be about maybe 2 or 3 items this time for their productivity cycle. And they do need flowers to run. However, the rural bee, in order to breed them, you might also be needing to plant some wheat to satisfy the trait that you get from the rural bee. And that's just for the breeding purposes. It doesn't kick over to the actual output for the apatine. That just needs the flowers. Let's see how far along this is. Not too terribly far. But as you can see, you get basically a stack each of the beeswax and the honey drops. I think it's exactly a stack, 1 for 1 with the comb for the beeswax, and just less than that with the honey drops. I think that's how it's going to work. Now, the bees in this branch do not get used for creating any new species, but you can breed their traits to other things. Like, for instance, you can breed the diamond trait to another bee, or you can use the diamandi bee to gather the output from a different bee, or the traits from a different bee, so you can up the stats on that and have a higher production and life cycle and all that. So it's not really the end of the breeding, but it is the end of the line for new species. And I think that should cover everything there really is to say about this branch. So thank you very much for watching. I hope I have answered any questions you may have had. But if you do have any questions or comments or suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to respond. If you like this video and you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to give me a like. I do appreciate it. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you know when my future content comes out. But this is where I'm going to have to wrap up, so thank you once again for watching. This is Thorn of Night, and I will talk to you later.